Jaron Boots Ennis defeats Karen Chizukian by unanimous decision, and a lot of people have critical things to say about Boots' performance, which is crazy because I honestly thought he won like basically every round. You could have gave one of the championship rounds to Chizukian, but for the most part, it was a dominant performance if we're just looking on paper. If we're looking at scorecards alone, which for some people that's everything, then good, great, dominant. But if you're a fight fan like me who looks at a fight and says, if he's gonna fight Terence Crawford, there's some things that need to get fixed real quick. Some holes that need to be filled real quick, especially if you want to fight a big name. And it's not only Terence Crawford, it's any big puncher, it's any guy with power, any guy with, more importantly, timing that I see Boots potentially having issues with. One thing I want to get out of the way first was my issues with, a little bit of the cornering. I thought that his dad, Boots' pops, was a little bit, over critical of what Boots was doing in the ring. He was saying, you got to be busier. I'm like, he's winning the fight, first of all, but that's not where I'm trying to say anything, too critical about Boots, because first of all, I thought he was, imposing his will, and at the same time, he was dictating the pace of the fight, and most importantly, he was winning the rounds. But if I were to take a little bit away from Boots' performance, which I'm not trying to say I'm a pro or anything, but just the eye test, I think a lot of you guys can agree with me that he was getting hit too much. So there was no doubt about that. Everybody on Twitter, everybody on boxing social media was saying that Boots Ennis was getting hit too much. Why was he getting hit too much? Because one, both of these issues that I'm about to mention just have to do with his head alone. The first issue, he doesn't move it off the center line. He does a lot of this, but not when it has to be done. Number two, his head is straight in the air. And I'm not trying to say, I'm going to go in there and stop Boots Ennis. Put me in the ring and I'll stop Boots. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when you look at a guy like Terence Crawford and you look at the way Karen Chizukian was able to snap Boots' head back with the hook, when he was able to snap Boots' head back with a jab, you just look at the timing and you start to say, Boots has to find a way to, be a little bit more slick in there. He was a very showy fighter when it, came to his prior fights, because those weren't the biggest tests. Karen Chizukian came to upset Boots, and it was evident. He didn't take all the risks that he needed to actually win the fight, but he was coming there not to lay down, not to be another win on Boots' record, just to add to his resume to a bunch of fighters so that Boots can look good and pad the record. That was not the opponent that Karen Chizukian came in as on that night. And it, showed. There were a lot of moments where I thought Boots, was genuinely concerned. There were a lot of shots that caught his attention, and that was really interesting for me to see, because I thought Chizukian's good. He's a good counterpuncher. He punches in between shots well, but I don't know if he'll be able to do that with Boots. And there I was wrong, seeing Boots get, his head snapped back, stuff like that. Not enough to win the rounds, but it's all about moments. Moments in boxing can expose, truths about fighters, and that's just the way it is. Maybe Crawford doesn't even have the timing. He has other skills that surpass that of Chizukian, but the timing might just be better for Karen Chizukian. Maybe he just has that. That's his biggest attribute. And then Terence Crawford's more all around, can do it all. And that's why we ultimately want to see the fight with Terence Crawford and Boots, right? But if we get a version of the best version of Terence Crawford versus the best version of Boots is a very interesting fight. And not that I'm picking Terence Crawford because of this performance. No, I'm not picking that solely because of what happened in Boots versus Chizukian. I'm picking that because I trust that Terence Crawford's instincts and his experience against, guys like Showtime Sean Porter, guys like Earl Spence Jr., that his timing and rhythm is going to throw Boots off. He's going to be the one dictating the pace, because it's just a different level of talent when you're fighting Terence Crawford as opposed to fighting Karen Chizukian. And Chizukian was able to land some clean shots, with that whipping speed and power that Terence Crawford has on his shots. The leverage that he gets is second to none in the sport right now. So Boots, he's great. He's a great talent. I just don't know if he's ready for Crawford. I'd love to see it next, but if I were Jaron Boots Ennis, I think I would hold off a little bit and just, do my thing, patch up some holes, fix some habits. I don't want to say mistakes, more like habits, like leaving your chin in the air and not doing all this when it doesn't matter. But when it's in between shots, sometimes you just got to put your hands up. You got to keep your hands up. You can't just trust that upper body movement, because to an extent, you know, he talked about the weight. And if you're not going to have a good weight cut, if you can't make 47 and you know that, you need to have the fundamentals to rely on. If you're not going to have the energy to go up and down with the upper body movement, you got to at least have the energy to protect yourselves with boxing 101 and keep your hands up. And he just got hit way too much for my liking, but still you got the win. You know, I'm not trying to sound like a hater. It's just a lot of what I noticed in that fight were habits that, you know, Terence Crawford could take advantage of, but it's stuff I also already knew. I already knew that the speed and the IQ and, like I said before, the experience is what makes me pick Terence Crawford over Jaron Boots Ennis. Fighting guys like Showtime, Sean Porter, Earl Spence Jr., Yuriorkis Gamboa, even at a lower weight class, it makes this hard to pick against Terence Crawford when it comes to the Boots fight. I can't pick Boots over Bud. It's just not going to happen. But let me know in the comments what you guys thought about the Chizoukian versus Jaron Boots Ennis fight. Did you guys think that, you know, Boots had a good performance, or in your opinion, do you guys feel like some holes were shown? Because I feel like it was both. I think there were holes shown, but at the end of the day, you know, it's all about the W, and Boots got that. But he is facing a lot of criticism from social media because of how much he got hit, and people are saying that Terence Crawford would cook him. And I'm not saying Terence Crawford would cook him, but it's very difficult for me to pick Boots over, you know, Terence Crawford in a potential mega fight. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. You know, I'll catch you guys on the next Nabs boxing video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because we're posting the hottest boxing content you've ever seen. So peace. Thank you guys for the support once again. I'll see you on the next one.
That's going to do it for another Nabs Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Mandabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.